Welcome to the Art of Black Miami podcast, organized by Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau. Our stories introduce emerging and experienced artists who make Miami an exciting place to live and visit. I'm Rosie Gordon-Wallace, curator and arts advocate. Miami is my home since the 1970s. My passion is cultivating the vision and talent of contemporary artists from the Caribbean diaspora, artists of color, and immigrant artists. Many cultures and languages come together to shape the character of Miami. Welcome, Loni Johnson. Loni is an artist born and raised in Miami. You're an activist, educator, mother. Tell us about what these roles mean to you.
And there's no specific order.
Did I leave anything
No.
out?
I mean, fashionista, if you want to add that one.
I would love to add that one. Yes.
Love fashion.
Yeah.
I think that as a mother, that fuels my stance as an artist, and then my stance as an artist fuels my advocacy and activist work. Because I think that it's really important that as an artist, we use our craft to bring about the change that we want to see in our communities and in our world. I think that art, for me, should be saying something, and it should be moving people. It should be a call to action.
And being uncomfortable doesn't bother you.
Oh, no. No.
I know that.
I say it all the time. I have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, because the uncomfortability provides the room for conversation. It provides the room for the action. So once we're uncomfortable, we have to move. We have to do something.
In 2021, you created Remnants in Locust Projects mobile studio. Bring the audience to where you were then.
When I was asked to do the exhibition, I knew that I wanted to focus on creating a space for Black girls, for Black women to see themselves, especially in a world that is constantly trying to make us invisible. So I wanted to create not only a metaphysical space, but a physical space for us to come in and feel welcome and to be seen. Accessibility is a big part of my work, and I wanted Remnants to be that gateway for communities of folks that don't necessarily have access to art, but then have access to art that reflects them.
What you did was that you brought them to a community that folks were not accustomed to coming to.
So many people kept saying to me, oh, I've never even been here. Or I've passed by this place a million times, but I never felt the need to come in. It was awesome that the mobile studio is right in the front, right by the window, and to be there in residency and working on the exhibition and having people walk by and peek in and be like, yo, what is she doing? And then coming in because they saw me. So then they felt like they saw themselves in this space. And to see that and have people respond to that, it was priceless.
I want you to share a little bit more about your process in transforming the space with color, with objects, familiar and unfamiliar,
right,
and how you created a sense of difference.
I was very intentional with the materials that I use in the assemblage. So I'm using cowrie shells, hair beads, bamboo earrings, all of these things that are signifiers for Black girls. So I have the opportunity to work with Girl Power Rocks here in Miami, which was founded by Thema Campbell. It's such an important organization because they are providing opportunities for these young ladies that some folks have given up on. They have created this space for these young girls to be their best selves. It was only right for me to incorporate those girls in the work. Not only am I talking about the photography of my lineage and where I come from, but introducing those girls and through the images of them, talking about the future, these possibilities of where we can go. They provide that. We had one of our sessions at Locust, And to have them come in and be like, Miss Loni, I've never seen myself like that, and nobody's ever done this for me, and just, oh, I have those earrings, and oh, and my mama used to put those, like all of those things in the design district. So to have them see themselves there, it changed the game for me.
The space had a feeling. I was physically moved in the space.
That's what I wanted. I wanted people, even if they didn't even look at any other stuff that was on the wall, if they just felt like they can come and just sit and be for a minute, then I did my job. I really wanted for folks to feel grounded and feel like they belong
And
in
mindful.
a space.
And you talked about the process of altar making.
The altar making is another component that's important to me because I'm inviting my ancestors into the space. And I feel like if I am talking about creating space for healing and reflection, then I must acknowledge those that came before me. So the altars are direct descendants of mine, but building those altars in my installations, it's inviting folks to think about their own ancestors. I really wanted to do that as a way to inspire other folks who come into the space to do the same. That's why I was really adamant about doing the workshops components to the exhibition, where I was inviting community to think about their own ancestors and making objects for themselves, and having the objects that the community made be a part of the exhibition. The community and their ancestors with me and my ancestors, and how it keeps going.
You're known in the community as a performing artist, right? And you did this amazing performance at LNS
Yes.
Gallery.
Yes.
With T. Elliot Mansa's work.
The name of the piece that I did at LNS with T. Mansa's work was Crossroads. So I was thinking about how our ancestors inform how we move in the present and hopefully in the future. His work is talking a lot about how we mourn.
You collaborate in community. You are known in your community as an activist. I'm pointing to the work that you did at the Perez Art Museum, Miami, the art detective work.
So Art Detectives was actually a project that came to the Perez Art Museum by the Links of Greater Miami. So the Links is a group of professional Black women that do community service projects. And it was something that was brought to the museum. Pam, and then the Links, and then, like I said, Breakthrough Miami are the three entities of that program. We are, under the framework of social justice, thinking about bringing community, young people together with law enforcement, and using art as a way to create the space for dialogue. Breakthrough Miami is one of our partners, and they provide the young people. It's their sixth grade cohorts in between the ages of 11 to about 13. We work with City of Miami and also Miami-Dade County Police. We're hoping to get the conversation started with the Miami-Dade County Public Schools Police. The young people are dealing with those folks directly on an everyday basis. And this idea of, why do we really need law enforcement in our schools? I think that conversation is super important right now.
This art detective work that you have done at the Perez Art Museum, the work that you've done in community, your performance work, led you to this amazing award. In 2021, you received a Social Justice Award from Oolite.
That blew my mind.
How so?
Because I know for myself, I'm not necessarily out here doing this work for that. However, as an artist, as a human being, like, to be validated and to be recognized and folks letting you know, hey, we see you. You're doing this work, keep going. It really was this like reaffirmation that this is the work that I'm supposed to be doing, right?
Are you doing anything special now that you want to share?
I've had the opportunity to work with Bas Fisher Invitational, and it's an organization started by Naomi Fisher and Hernan Bas. Their intention with the Invitational was to provide opportunities for artists. So they recently created this thing called the Heat Exchange, where it's an artist residency exchange program. They're working with arts organizations in Norway. And there were 3 artists that came from Norway here to Miami to do a residency. They stayed at Fountainhead. Then there's 3 artists from here, myself included, that will be going to Norway in May.
Exciting. So any anticipated outcomes?
I want to know what the black folks doing out there. I want to know who's working with the young people. I want to know what the social justice work look out there, and just wanting to know, just how we move in spaces and continue to think about that.
How will you introduce your Miami to the far north?
Miami is my home. The weather, the culture, the people, there's no place like it. You know what I mean? 305 till I die. As artists, we got to make sure that we keep the 305 what it is and keep it pure, keep it real.
You've also been involved in formalizing new modes of engagement for Black artists in Miami.
In the summer of 2020, there was a lot going on in our world, right? There was this racial reckoning that was happening. We decided to create a group of folks called the Miami Melanated Arts. We're really thinking about how we can reimagine what the ecosystem for Black artists is here in Miami and South Florida.
Your work sits at an intersection. You're a mother, you're in your 40s, you are working intimately, almost daily, with the next generation of pop.
That's right. But for me, I feel like my practice is rooted heavily in community building. Yes, I have objects, I make things, I do performance, but I am more interested in how these objects activate something else.
Catalyze and activate.
Right. I think that the visual language is such a powerful language. And I think, especially for Black folks, people of color, we have to seize that moment of when we can use our craft to say something. It's an obligation to do so. So I feel like as an artist, I don't really have time to be making work just for the sense of art for art's sake. I think that art, for me, should be saying something, and it should be moving people to move, to act. It should be a call to action.
Why is it important for you to give back to community?
Because somebody did it for me. You know what I mean? Someone did it for me. I had this one specific teacher in middle school. I went to Mays Middle, which is now the Arthur and Polly Mays Conservatory for the Arts in Goose, Florida. And this one lady, shout out to Miss Phillips, Miss Barbara Phillips, thank you. She never gave up on us. I was in the magnet art program there, and she specifically never gave up on me. And she was the reason why, along with my mother, that I applied to Dash and New World for high school. I knew that I had a gift. I knew that this art thing was bigger than me, and I had to do it.
This was an Art of Black Miami podcast, sponsored by the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau. I am Rosie Gordon-Wallace. Today we introduce you to Loni Johnson, an artist, educator, mother, and activist. She is intentional in her social engagement practice, commemorating, celebrating, and nurturing the character of Miami's Black community. We recorded this conversation in the historic neighborhood of Little Haiti, a mecca for Black art and culture. Art of Black Miami highlights the year-round art and culture scene in Miami's heritage neighborhoods and across communities in Greater Miami and Miami Beach. If you are enjoying our stories, visit artofblackmiami.com to learn more. Engage us on social media, post and share using the hashtag #ArtofBlackMiami. The Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau is an accredited, independent, not-for-profit sales and marketing organization. GMCVB's mission is to attract visitors to Greater Miami and Miami Beach for leisure, business, and conventions. For up-to-date art events, promotions, and more information, visit artofblackmiami.com.